Hey guys, Neon here. As I was editing this video, some more news came out, and I'm sorry this video takes so long to come out. I'll talk more about it towards the end of the video. But yeah, the news that came out is they showed off some concept art of two new Brute brothers named Hyperius and Tovaris, and they showed off the new Scrap Cannon, along with showing off the new Razorback vehicle. Again, thank you dudes for being so patient with it, and if you have any advice as to how I can better make these type of videos in the future, because I am really looking forward to Halo Infinite. I hope to make plenty of videos. I hope to do plenty of streams and make a good amount of content for it. So any sort of advice or criticism is welcome. But without further ado, enjoy the Inside Infinite PC news. Let's get into it. Now, at the time of this stream, this was posted 3 hours ago. So, welcome to the latest version of Inside Infinite, our monthly blog series where we sit down with the teams building Halo Infinite and get an in-depth look at what goes into their work. In this installment, we've had the chance to sit down with the team building the PC version of Halo Infinite to learn more about the process and goals more than ever before. Just joining us, we've already taken a look at art and graphics, sandbox, campaign, and audio. This time we're joined by Jeff Guy, Mike, the producer and development leader for Halo Infinite, respectively, with 25 plus years of game development experience between them. They sat down with us to talk about what makes the PC version of Halo Infinite so special and what they're doing to make sure that the PC gamers get an experience that first class on their platform, how you'll be able to play with your friends, and much more. And of course, if you've got any questions on the mind, you've had a chance to read through everything, hold on to them. We've been scouring Twitter for your questions using the Ask343 hashtag, and we'll be doing the same after this one as well. So if you've got a question for Mike, Jeff, and the rest of the PC team, we want to hear them. But now read on and hear in Jeff and Mike's own words what you can expect when you boot up the PC version of Halo Infinite. Yo, this art. Power to the PCs. Who are you and what do you do in 343 Industries? Jeff Guy. I joined 343 about 2 years ago as a producer of Halo Infinite PC. When I heard there was an opportunity to help build a first-class PC experience for Halo Infinite, I dropped what I was doing and joined up. Mike Romero. I'm development lead on Halo Infinite PC. I design most of the PC experiences and run the engineering team. Putting it together, I joined 343, Microsoft 343 specifically for the opportunity to bring Halo Infinite to PC and set the standard for how I'd like to see PC supported. I'm so excited to be doing this for Halo Infinite, specifically since it has such a rich history on console. We have an opportunity with this game to design for PC from the beginning. We will do PC justice with this game. I think it's also a very exciting time at Microsoft for PC gaming, as I see Microsoft making a lot of player-focused changes and improvements. Tools like the new Xbox Game Bar and the dedicated Xbox app for game purchases, Xbox Game Pass for PC, and major investments in other PC-focused studios. All right, let's hear it. When did you first become a PC gamer? How long have you been working on games for PC? Mike Romero says, I've always played on all platforms, starting with an Atari 2600 from a garage sale and a hand-me-down DOS and Windows 3.1 PC. I've been building PCs since I was about 13 and used to repair many of my friends' family computer. I'm a fan of many games, but for FPS games, I play a lot of Duke Nukem at my friend's house. When I was way too young, I somehow got away with playing Quake 2 in programming class in high school when I finished assignments early, and I went hard into building my own gaming machine for Unreal Tournament. My personal favorite is actually Unreal Tournament 2004. I landed a dream job working on brand new graphics card architecture straight out of college, and I worked on PC graphics for a little over a decade at all levels of the stack: drivers, hardware, architectures, APIs, and game development. I would moonlight building graphics demos, then game engines, and finally making indie games as a one-man team for game jams like Ludum Dare. I got heavily involved with the fantastic indie gaming community. Shout out to my friends at the Pig Squad. To stay motivated and encourage others building the next thing, my day job evolved into graphics performance and then development relations for a while when I went from studio to studio to make performance optimizations on many different PC games and engines. I've been extremely passionate about building a great product that players want, so I made the jump to where I could define more of that experience and bring that PC-specific knowledge to Halo Infinite. Jeff Guy says, I grew up in a pretty low-income household and video games were expensive in the 90s. I couldn't quite convince my single mother that an NES was more important than a rent. Fortunately, a few things happened in 1993 that would create the foundation of my career in video games. One, my future stepfather introduced me to the world of PC building. Two, the release of the Platinum meant I was able to get my hands on a 486 for pretty cheap. And three, I was finally able to play Wing Commander Privateer. It changed my life. That game was so ahead of its time. Fast forward to age 18, I knew I wanted to make video games, so I saved up and bought a plane ticket to Seattle. I had no money or home, but I knew how to code, and I was crazy passionate about becoming a game developer. Luckily, that was enough to get me a job as a game tester for Perfect Dark Zero. Over the next 17 years, I shipped 9 AAA games across 6 platforms. I was even fortunate enough to spend a few years with the Xbox 360 platform team building the backwards compatibility game and games on demand systems. Sometimes it's hard for me to believe I'm a part of building the games that shaped me as a kid. It's an incredible opportunity. I plan to keep putting my heart into this thing until I feel I've earned. Fresh look at the super wide, ultra wide Forerunner interior. Spent a great deal of time in these blogs learning about the vision and goals of each team. As the team focused on the PC version of Halo Infinite, what's your vision? Jeff, I want to make a Halo game that feels like it was always made on PC and as if it was meant to be to ship on PC. And now it's seeing the light of day. This is, of course, very selfish goal. I'm a customer of my own work. This will be a Halo built for PC players by PC players. That's kind of worrying, to be honest, as a controller player. But at the same time, we don't know how it will feel yet. We'll have to wait until public flighting or insider flighting becomes a thing. So we'll have to wait before we actually get as a console player, because I don't have a good enough PC. Really, my PC is a pretty old one. Like, I'm passionate about giving players what they want, taking a great game, making it run the way PC gamers want it to play, honoring the hard work they put into their rigs, the settings, customizations they want to see, and welcoming new players who might not have played Halo before. Oh, voice crack.
That might not have played Halo before.
If they're not console players. It is also our goal for PC to work harmoniously with console players so you can easily play with your friends regardless of platform. It's honestly a fun challenge to make something both so customizable and advanced yet accessible and cross-platform at the same time. An example of honoring those high-end PCs is creating ultra graphic quality settings so the best PC's hardware can make the game look amazing and offer an incredible PC experience. For enthusiastic features and customizability, we have a very good look at ultra wide and super ultra wide support, triple keybinds. We're supporting a wide range of input devices. You can play the game on PC using a non-Xbox controller or with a mouse and keyboard. When you're playing on console. Oh, so that's cool. So you're free to play in any way you want, is what I'm understanding.
So I can commit heresy and play
yes,
Xbox
you
with
can
a
commit
PlayStation.
heresy on your PC with the fucking PS4 controller, you goddamn heretic. Advanced sensitivity and acceleration sliders for your mouse. So there's so much we're working on, and we have plenty of ideas and for features after the initial launch. Don't take this serious to make the game cross-platform. We go through great pains to ensure you have a competitive experience on any device. So things like your field of view, FLV settings, which are more standard for PC, are also available on console. Lastly, in order to make the game accessible and cross-platform, we try to strike a balance where we're not overwhelming new players with settings, but provide a core group of settings on all platforms. Players can tweak things like screen effects to reduce motion sickness or photosensitivity, for example. And we want a safe place to play, which means minimizing harassment or cheating. So there are many considerations and several impact the overall game design for the sake of living up to expectations of PC players, which is what we mean. Which is what we mean when we say it's not a port, it's built with PC in mind. How do you bring that all to life when it comes to making a new game for PC? There are many considerations, from granular graphics options to a litany of control schemes. What does it look like to design those principles in practice? Is at the center of PC gaming. It's the reason we build our own gaming rigs and spend too much time turning the knobs and dials in every game. We want games to acknowledge our identity as a PC gamer and reward us for it. When designing a native PC experience, I try to keep the vast array of identities and choices in mind to ensure I'm not just making a game for me, but rather acknowledging the diversity in PC gaming community and embracing it all. Mike says, I think as a lifelong PC gamer, we have a great feel for the expectations of how PC games should look, feel, and operate. We want a great set of options without getting in your way, rich features, support with a streamlined experience, and the confidence that the game will run on your hardware. To go through a specific example, let's talk about ultra-wide support. This is something that really takes the whole studio to do it right, because there's so much content that has to be created with this in mind for this from the start. To start with their designation, their design. Start with their design considerations. Jesus Christ, me! I explicitly wanted a wider aspect ratio to allow you to see more horizontally instead of seeing less vertically. This is harder on performance, but provides a more immersive experience. The 3D scene has to support arbitrary window sizes. That's because that's probably the easiest part. Then you've got your HUD, which has to anchor to the edges of the screen. And think of Chief's helmet display. You want the helmet wires to be seamless regardless of aspect ratios. So we design with that in mind. You can also run the game in 4:3 and at a lower minimum resolution than you would get on a TV, and the UI still needs to be legible. There are plenty of settings, menus, and font end flows that need to have layouts that fit into arbitrary screen sizes and widgets to adjust accordingly. So that's more UI work. Then there's cutscenes. Infinite has a style of in-game cutscene we call narrative moments, and we want to make sure these work great without cropping to specific aspect ratio, which means we need to make sure the actions of the scene fits on screen. Things don't despawn, stop animating, or clip when they go out of the 16:9 field of view, etc. There are sandbox elements for the first-person perspective we want to ensure look good at any aspect ratio. You don't want pieces of your armor popping into view unexpectedly. You want weapon and equipment animations to look great. There's the new tac map that has to look and navigate according to the variably sized screen. To make this all happen, we have to think of all the corner cases, lay out the player expectation and the ideal behavior for every scenario, translate that into specific investigation, engineering, testing, and user research objectives. And when our friends around the studio need help, the PC team will do the implementation, like code changes so the FOV system plays well with different aspect ratios, for example. There's dozens of people across the studio that have had to put dedicated effect into supporting something like ultra wide throughout the entirety of the game. And I'm very excited to say I think we'll have some of the best ultra wide support I've seen in a game. Now, one thing I am looking forward to for this game, one thing I am personally looking forward to, other than, like, of course, crossplay, it's just the new experience of a Halo game. I'm really looking forward to just experiencing something new right now. So here we have a example of the different FOVs and different aspect ratios. What opportunities and challenges have you faced building a narrative first-class PC experience for a long-standing console game like Halo? Jeff says building a native first-class PC experience for Halo Infinite meant convincing some brilliant console developers that these quirky features they've never cared about are hugely important to PC players. This job is at times equal parts educator and PC hype man. As an example, I might need to convince someone that even though 21x9 ultra wide doesn't exist on console, it is very important to PC gaming, and we should design our content natively for it. There's also a ton of preventative problem solving, things like making sure our game plays nice with specific families of hardware, or fighting hard to ensure we don't add intrusive DRM to our game. The problem with preventing problem solving, though, is you never see the crisis averted. Fortunately, 343 knows how to make a great Halo game. It's important to call out that the MCC team has done a fantastic work pioneering Halo on PC. The Infinite PC team has a huge opportunity to learn from the challenges and wins MCC has faced, and we're paying close attention. Mike says, definitely generating excitement around the capabilities of PC, shining light into the dark corners where we make assumptions that work for console, but might need to be more robust for PC. Like what, Red?
Sorry to interrupt you, but I got blood gulch.
Beautiful. Like for that ultra wide work, we literally wanted to get people excited about the potential of that experience. So we got a bunch of ultra wide monitors and gave them to our team for their dev machines so they'd work and test with them daily. Jeff is an excellent hype man, and I think this absolutely paid off. Also going the extra mile for customizability, like with advanced graphics options, accessibility settings, and the ability to scale quality to maintain performance across many generations of hardware. Console games don't generally have advanced graphics settings, and of course that's expected for PC, but also Infinite is supporting consoles with different platform performance profiles. So we have this confluence of design needs to support many different performance profiles over multiple generations of hardware and many different quality settings to scale to the different performance targets on those platforms. And we want to expose all of that to the PC player to tweak for their personal machine. It's a real beast to make these settings achieve the goals the artists and content developers, the performance engineers, and be exposed and intuitive to players. God, this game is so fucking beautiful looking. I really can't wait to just on the fucking Zeta Halo look up at the skybox and just see that ring expand across the sky. See it all loop around. Okay, when building a game for the PC, I can imagine there's a great deal of things to consider, be it graphic card families, monitor sized input devices, refresh rates, and that's just scratching the surface. What features can PC players look forward to when firing up Infinite? A buttery smooth experience on mouse and keyboard, ultra wide 21 by 9, 32 by 9 and beyond, and support for everything, in-game narrative moments, menus, the works, display settings, refresh rates, triple keybinds, advanced graphics options that you would expect, and the ability to dynamically scale resolution to maintain frame rate and competitiveness. The ability to play with your friends regardless of what platform you are on. Steam, Xbox, Game Pass for PC. Everyone can play together. Everyone can play together. Woo! We plan to build upon Infinite for years into the future, so managing content for the game in a native and familiar way to each platform we're releasing on. Joining your friends through XBL, Steam, Discord, making it convenient to get into a match regardless of which platform your friends are on. This is the shit I love to hear. Accessibility. Halo with the boys. Halo with the boys. There are also options like showing FPS and ping in an overlay or hiding the HUD entirely if you want to make some nice screenshots or overlay your own thing while streaming. There's lots of options and settings. I don't want to talk just yet, but we have more we're working on, many ideas in the future. Just a basic screenshot of the options menu here. Halo Infinite has been built from day one for the PC from the ground up. What sort of experience has helped you on your path? I've experienced bringing AAA FPS titles to PC, but each time it's a new thing. The needs of PC gamers and developers right now are completely different from the needs of even a few years ago. This has been an amazing learning experience so far. Mike says, I'm new here. Jeff laughs. Jokes aside, Mike's perspective makes him fight for things that are typically not done. There have been a couple occasions where Mike asking why sent me tumbling down the rabbit hole. The result of all this, we tend to aim for the moon, and we've blasted down a few old barriers along the way. I'm really critical of my work, and every time I propose a feature or a solution to something, I step back and think, as a gamer, who doesn't give the game the benefit of the doubt? Does this suck? Does it do what I need? Is this how I want that to work? Jeff and I are absolutely the customers of the PC-centric experience that we're building, and 99% of the time, we know the playtest feedback before we even get the results, so we're very in tune with how the PC features we're building will be received. I really joined to make the best experience possible. I want this to be a spectacle. I look at the cream of the crop games releasing on PC, and that's my minimum bar. Typically, when friends want to game together, there's the "what version of the game do you play?" conversation that happens before they can link up. With Halo Infinite launching for Xbox and PC, how will players be able to link up? XBL, Steam, Discord, both in-game and out-of-game invites. We actually will allow you to host a local multiplayer server on your PC. Other players on your LAN, both PC and Xbox, are able to join local servers and play Infinite multiplayer with you. We also have both ranked and unranked matchmaking playlists where PC and Xbox players can play together online. Halo with the boys. Halo with the boys. Halo with my boys.
It's saying that, but from what I understand, is that you can do Party Chat 2 with Discord game.
I guess.
That's what it sounds like it's alluding to. Be nice.
Social playlists and custom games are open to all. You can play on any platform and any device with anyone you'd like. For ranked matches, we plan to restrict competitive playlists based on input type, not console versus PC. That's because we believe the input is the biggest differentiator in gameplay ability, with things like aim assist on the controller or the precision of sniping with a mouse. You can play with a controller on your PC to play ranked with your console friends, or even a mouse and keyboard on your console to play ranked with your PC friends. For mouse and keyboard players, Halo Infinite will support triple key bindings. They've mentioned that a few times. Little look at the menu when binding controls. It's clear there's a lot of work that goes into a PC game alongside a console experience. But where and how do you integrate with some of the other teams we've heard from, like the Sandbox team? Honestly, we have to work closely with everyone. We're all making a PC game. Many of the PC-specific features were a co-development effort with multiple teams. We meet weekly, sometimes daily, with Sandbox, UX, UI, live, and graphics. We design, develop, test, and incorporate feedback together. A good example would be the graphics options, where graphics engineers code a feature, tech artists and content creators use the feature as an input to tune the visuals of the game. The UX UI teams build us the widgets like sliders and text inputs, and the PC team is pulling all these ingredients together to have a polished player control in a menu that does the thing players expect. We'll start off by stating the player expectation, identity, all of the ingredients needed and work with our partner teams to get implemented and working together. Some things are obvious, like the need for the graphic settings, though which exact settings and the range of those settings is less obvious. Some are very obscure, like ensuring that the FOV expands horizontally for ultra-wides with a locked vertical FOV. The FOV widget controls the vertical FOV, and when things like boosting in a vehicle would modify the FOV, it modifies correctly, and you can't just add or subtract the FOV by a number. It's relative to the current settings, to the current FOV settings. It's up to the PC team to really think through these scenarios that people might not be used to thinking about, then work with our partner teams to come up with a plan to address them. Sometimes the implementation is done mostly by the PC team, like the FOV works. Sometimes it's mostly done by the partner team, like Sandbox hooking up triple keybinds. Sometimes it's a split, like fine-tuning mouse sensitivity and accelerations options, or supporting MISIC input options like invert for mouse and controller independently. But it always involves us coming to an agreement on a design we're all happy with that delivers what players want. A close look at the super wide Forerunner interior. Of course, Halo Infinite isn't just a great big campaign, but it's also an incredible free-to-play multiplayer experience. When it comes to the trappings of multiplayer, what are some of the biggest considerations being taken to ensure everyone can have a good time? A free-to-play multiplayer experience. Certain people are not going to have an excuse. I'm going to bug certain people. And I think some of them already know who they are if they happen to see this.
Chris.
Hell, I'm...
I did it.
And let's just say that they're both my boys. We want to ensure fairness, and adding PC into the mix opens Pandora's box. We felt like we had to make an anti-cheat solution that doesn't get in the way, doesn't root your machine, doesn't block your legitimate applications. We want the most unobtrusive thing possible that ensures a safe way for everyone to play together. For crossplay, again, we prioritize fairness without being too restrictive, so we have to draw the lines players are comfortable with. Input-based restrictions for ranked matches, while maintaining flexibility. You don't have to buy the game on a different platform to play with your friends. Worst case, you could switch input devices. We also want to ensure nobody feels like they're at a significant disadvantage because of the way they're playing within reason. A 10-year-old PC just isn't going to be as fast as a brand new ultra high-end PC. If we do our job right, in combination with our True Skill 2 ranking system, they're gonna try matching the True Skill ranking system. Ooh, a little teaser of what's to come for multiplayer. I see. Everyone should be able to trust they're getting a fair shake in the crossplay ecosystem. I've got strong opinions about anti-cheat, but I'm not really the person that should be talking to what we've built. I'd like to introduce Michael Van Kuipers? Keepers? I'm so sorry for butchering your name, sir. Our security engineer to speak on this a bit further. Thanks, Jeff. We knew from the start that delivering an awesome PC game meant taking cheating seriously. You're really just speaking. You're speaking that good shit here. And we're committing to doing it in a way that's respectful to the experience of legitimate players. Our anti-cheat philosophy is to make cheating more difficult in ways that don't involve kernel devices or background services. We've done a lot of work securing the Slipspace engine and developing the novel ways to protect and change the game to slow down cheat development. When people do cheat, we're focused on catching them through their behavior and not from data we've harvested from their machines. Combating cheaters is an ever-evolving arms race, but we're making the tech investments needed today to continue the fight for years to come. Now let's talk about where players will be able to grab Halo Infinite when the game launches. How will people jump in with all that it has to offer? Okay. Steam, Xbox Store on PC, Xbox Game Pass for PC, and of course the Xbox Store or in a box on the shelf for the console version. All right, we'll leave you with the final word in the interview. What's your favorite aspect of the PC version of Infinite? Go ahead, talk nerdy to us. It's a tie between graphics and crossplay. If you have a piece of the PC, you can really dial up the graphics. Absolutely stunning in 21:9. I love that I can play with anyone regardless of platform. I think it's super frustrating when you and your friends own the same game, but you can't play together. Man!
This guy gets it.
That is so true. He does. He gets it. It's so amazing when the developers understand so they can just make the solution. Ultra wide across the whole experience of the game, fine-tuning and a high refresh rate support, throttling to maintain frame rate, our competitive, the low input latency, the cross-platform LAN service is really cool. I can't pick one thing. I can't wait to hear about your favorite experience. Thank you, Mike, Jeff, and Michael for sharing so much with us in this Inside Infinite. We can't wait for the community to tell us about their favorite PC play features as well once it lands. And now, as is tradition, we're turning the proverbial mic over to the studio for their latest development stories. Every single month, we'll delve deeper into the developments from teams across, whether it's a quick story or an anecdote about their progress or something we're excited about. We've been conducting external flights and playtesting with a very small external group representing a variety of backgrounds. Getting to see folks outside the company experience the game for the first time is a thrill. The feedback we've been getting has been heartening in many areas and impactful in many areas. Seeing a turnaround in opinion based on changes is truly gratifying. Rest assured, now that we've gotten our feet wet over the last couple of months, we're progressing towards expanding playtesting opportunities as soon as we can. So keep those Halo Insider profiles updated. Do not fuck with me, please. I really hope I get a chance. When we set out to rebuild the HCS program for Halo Infinite, one of the main things we wanted to accomplish was to lock and announce a full year roadmap ahead of the game's release. every qualifier, every live event, all dates, cities, and venues out there publicly so that everyone in the ecosystem knew what the plan was. We knew this would be difficult, but I don't think we realized just how difficult it was going to be. Multiple times we've had to pick up our plans and move them around to support the game's new release dates, as well as COVID-19. And now we hope to be now what we hope to be a safer world to hold events in. With the proliferation of various vaccines, just a few weeks ago on Twitter, we let the community know that the venue for the first event had been secured, and today we're excited to say the venue for the Halo World Championship is also secured. Now, that doesn't mean that everything in between is all locked up yet, but it's also exciting to finally see our plans come together after all this time and all the challenges we've been through. Thanks to all the competitors, fans sticking with it, and can't wait to cheer for amazing matches alongside you. I think I might actually pay attention to the HCS this year, now that I know it's a thing and I'm older, and especially if Halo Infinite turns out to be a really fun game.
Papa boy.
Shut the fuck! Working on this game has been an incredible journey, full of far more adventurous and anecdotes than we have room for here. Not a moment goes by where I'm not ridiculously humbled to be weaving creative threads alongside folks I admire on the game's talented and tireless narrative team. Folks like Paul Croker, Dan, not even going to attempt to say his name, I know I'm going to botch it, Aaron Linde, and Linda, and the new guy, Joseph Staten, I think it is. There's so many stories to be told, new strength, and to uncover, keeping the theme of our recent Inside Infinite focus. One of the things in particularly excited about Brett is the brand of discoverable audio log content and the unearthed and dissected, helping bring further life to the world. You'll be exploring small glimpses of what you may have already heard, watching as content grows from an idea to script to being brought to life in the VO booth by our actors, audio teams, and partners. It never gets old. I, for one, can't wait for you all to learn and even better experience it for yourself. During this part of development, every little detail really comes together. I've been working closely with our audio and FX teams to make sure all the multiplayer game mode events shine. When you capture a flag in Halo Infinite, everyone will know, and it will be an amazing feeling. We are sure using sound and VFX to give vital information in new ways to allow players to make more impactful decisions in a match. I am also working very closely with audio tuning our VO systems to be the best yet. I'm making sure our announcers, Spartan Chatter and Redacted, all work in tandem to deliver a super clear but also immersive experience. You can see the promise of all these little details throughout development, but now it really starts to become greater than the sum of its parts. Whew, really looking forward to that multiplayer reveal. I've said it multiple times, but I really am. I almost really just want it in my fucking hands. As we work to finish and find creative ways to deliver the team's overall vision, beautiful art, and immersive experiences across different platforms, we often need to make trade-offs that allow us to ship the game we envisioned at the cost of incurring technical debt against our future. These decisions are never made lightly and are typically done in service of our players and delivering the best experience possible, but these debts must still be paid, or they can come due at the worst times. Developing Halo 4 and 5 were challenging in their own rights, and we learned a lot from each of them. Though we had successfully delivered those games, we knew that the tools we had weren't enough to achieve our vision for the future. With Halo Infinite, many of our most fundamental tools received significant overhauls, not only to work off that debt, but also avoid and be able to pay down new debt more effectively than before. As the release of Infinite nears, it feels like we're picking up momentum to continue improving, strengthening, and expanding the tools through release and beyond. This undertaking and investment in our tools has taken considerable time and effort, and it's still ongoing. But what I'm most proud of is the fact that we are building something for the future. The Halo Waypoint team has been hard at work on the next generation of Halo's applications and websites. Coming soon, this is a complete rebuild of our tech stack to deliver a richer experience for you to improve an improved tool set for the studio. Halo Waypoint will now be available as a native iOS and Android app, in addition to the website, replacing the existing Halo Channel app. Most recently, the team has been focused on Halo Infinite features such as customization and progression, and navigating challenges associated with translating those features to web and pocket-sized devices. We plan to share more in the future, so I'll leave this parting wisdom: prepare your hardware accelerators. That's probably what we're going to get more info on next month. Many thanks to those around 343 that took their time to share some stories with us. As tradition, here's for Inside Infinite, we're leaving the final word with Joseph Staten, Halo Infinite's head of creative, who's got some additional insights. Okay, a picture's worth. It's cliche to say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but honestly, I'm gobsmacked every time I see Halo Infinite in ultra wide or super ultra wide formats. Halo games have always been aspired to be fully immerse you in a sci-fi world filled with mystery and adventure. But playing Halo Infinite in 21:9 or 32:9, the Halo world enwraps you like never before, especially if you have one of them fancy curved ultra-wide monitors, and just wait until you see the game's cinematics in these formats. What I do think bears some additional words aren't what features we're building for PC, but rather who was doing the building. One of the best parts of being the new guy on Halo Infinite is that I get to meet a whole bunch of people while Jeff and Mike are too effacing. Why am I struggling with basic English? Maybe not basic, but still. To say this themselves, in my career, they're two of the most talented, dedicated, and humble people I've met. They're working exceedingly hard to make the Halo Infinite PC experience as great as it can be. And the good news is, when I look across the whole team, Jeff and Mike aren't alone, not by a long shot. As we head into the shutdown and polish phase of the project, I wish all of you could see the incredible work that I have privileged of playing every day. The same intense committing to make a game that you, Halo's most ardent fans, will love to play, exists across all the team. Finally, a brief customer service announcement. While I hope you enjoyed this month's 1,000 word screenshot, we know that game videos are worth at least 10,000 words. And the great news is that summer, i.e., game industry event season, is just around the corner, and there are glorious plans afoot. Stay tuned, Spartans. And with that, yeah, pretty much. And with that, that is all of the info on Inside Infinite. Some of the, I would say, the personal most exciting info we got was definitely them talking about crossplay, but that's as someone that's not really a PC player. But yeah, we've seen some fucking phenomenal screenshots that I would love to analyze, but I also don't want to spoil myself on some of this stuff. And just overall, some amazing work. Really looking forward to how they deal with cheaters, because them knowing that it's going to be a thing and them already taking steps is a great thing to keep in mind. And of course, crossplay. They already know how important crossplay is. They already know how everything is going to. They already kind of have an idea of how they want to do things. and how things should work. So hopefully it's pretty simple like it is in MCC, but we'll see. All right, with that out of the way, thank you dudes for watching. The main things I'm really excited about are the steps they're taking toward stopping cheating on Halo Infinite, because they know they know that it's probably going to be a thing because of crossplay and the PC version, and the fact that they are working for crossplay to be so available, I guess you could say. So yeah, really looking forward to this game. And the reason why this video has taken so long is because recently I got a job. So I've been trying to adjust my schedule to this. So again, I appreciate any form of criticism, and I hope to, now that I'm getting more used to things, I hope to bring this content out a bit faster. So thank you dudes for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the near future for whatever it may be.